podcast.
Bring your friends! All right. We're finally here with Josh Shaffer.
All right.
All right. I got the name out of the way. I normally have a bad habit of like fucking up people's names, by the way.
No worries, man. You got it right. You know what's funny? You ever Google, you think you're unique in the world, and you ever Google your name? It's like there's like Josh Shaffer, the baseball player, Josh Shaffer, the taxidermist, Josh Shaffer, the you know boob inspector for breast awareness, and it's like there's a million. There's like 20 Josh Shaffers.
I don't think I've ever Googled just my name, but I did years ago. My parents messaged me because they typed in Spanish translator Missouri, and like I was like the number one thing that would pop up. So my
Oh, that's
family
cool.
started sending me messages like, "You're Googleable," and I was like,
That's
"That's
awesome.
weird."
That's
So
cool though.
yeah, no, but that's funny.
Yeah, I looked at the list. I was like, man, it's like I should do like a Highlander, but like I'm Jewish, so we're pretty like timid. So it's like like a whining contest or something. I don't know.
Like a whining contest. That's how I feel when I meet another Hispanic person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's like everybody thinks it's a race thing when it's a cultural thing. Like, like Puerto Ricans, they say Puerto Ricans don't like Mexicans or whatever. Dude, Puerto Ricans love everybody. We love
That's
everybody.
cool.
We just don't like other Puerto Ricans. That's the thing is,
Why is
yeah.
that?
I don't know, man. Just Puerto Rican people treat each other like very crappy. Like it's like weird.
Is it true that all of you hate J Lo because she's really not Boricua? She's like,
No. Well, see, the thing is we don't like anybody who claims to be Boricua and never was born or raised on the island.
and she
Like,
wasn't. So
not to my knowledge.
right.
Not to my knowledge. I know the only few Boricua that come from the island are Bad Bunny, Ricky Martin, Daddy Yankee, obviously, Don
Mhm.
Omar. And there's like a couple other rappers, but they moved out of the island.
Oh,
Hurricane
okay.
season, bro. Hurricane season.
Oh yeah, it was horrible.
Oh, you're telling me I've survived through like 3. They were
Oh
not
boy.
fun at all.
Yeah, man. I can imagine. I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, but I like it here in Missouri.
Okay, cool.
I like it here. How do you like it where you're at?
Long Island.
Yeah.
I love it because there's not a lot of comedians around here or entertainers. There's just me.
So you do
That's
pretty
what
well over there?
I mean, I'm in the same boat, where like you do what you love, but it's tough going. You just keep pushing forward. I mean, the town I live in is where I live with my wife, obviously, but I grew up in Rockville Center, where Howard Stern and Amy Schumer are from. Everywhere you go in Long Island, somebody famous is from there. So
Yeah, I was going to
I
say
live.
Pete Davidson, right?
I think he's from Staten Island.
Staten Island. My bad.
Yeah, like
My
if we're
bad.
like if
See,
we're
I'm confusing the
I
islands
was trying to
already.
do yeah, if we're like ShopRite, they're like Staten Island, called like the Walmart of islands around here. I kid. He's from Staten Island. Long Island is where I live right now in Massapequa. That's the Baldwin brothers and Jerry Seinfeld. So we live like 10 minutes away from Jerry Seinfeld's favorite burger joint called All American Burger. So when he comes to town, he goes there, he grabs a burger.
Oh, that's interesting. That's
Yeah, so
interesting.
I've always wanted to walk in there pretending to be like, why do they call them hamburgers? There's no ham in it, or some
Do you
crap
think
like
he'd be
that.
do you think he'd be upset about that? Or you think he'd
Well,
be
if I
like,
did it to him, he probably imitating him. Nah, I heard he's a pretty laid back guy. He's a good guy.
that's
Besides, I don't
interesting.
do a very good Seinfeld impersonation anyway. Just why?
See, it's new to me because I didn't grow up watching those shows.
No,
So
what did
like
you watch growing up?
El Chapulín, something called El Chapulín, which was like kids comedy. It was like this kid. How do
I
I
know who you're talking
explain?
about. I know who you're
Yeah,
talking about.
Chespirito, the guy who created his name is Chespirito. He had a
Yeah,
bunch of characters. It was a kid who like lived in a barrel in this little community.
yeah.
This is gonna sound so horrible. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know how I laughed about this. He
I
lived in a barrel
yeah.
because he was poor. And
Oh,
and
man.
everybody in the neighborhood would like put up with his antics.
Yeah,
Because he was a good kid. Like
right.
he just didn't have parents to teach him right or wrong. So he
Yeah.
just had like these crazy antics. And then he had a friend who had like a weird car, like
Did he have like
Like,
fat? Because I worked in the restaurant
yeah,
industry for a
he
while.
had a
And
like
you know,
a
so you make that face. We
yeah
used to watch that. We used to watch that on weekends when we were setting up the restaurant, you know, and like the guys in the back, you know, and that sounds stereotypical. Uh Honduras, El Salvador, and they, you know, they would put that stuff on, and
oh
I'd be watching.
yeah
I'd be like, this is so
Chapulín
bizarre, but I really enjoy it. And then El Chavo, the guy with he was like the
El Chavo
bumblebee.
yeah
Yep, El Chavo, the same
yeah
guy, right? But it was
it
just a
was the
different
same
show.
guy that had he was at Bumblebee with the hammer
Yeah, yeah, and he had like superpowers and stuff, but it was like
yeah
I
Chespirito
developed an affection for that kind of stuff. I think it's like the way it was made because I'm half Canadian. So like in Canada, they had like weird shows like that too. But it's like endearing, even though there wasn't a lot of production value behind it. There wasn't a big budget. But I used to really enjoy watching that stuff.
but
I
it
thought it
was
was really
so
funny.
good. It was so good. I can't explain. Like I growing up, then I started watching Raymond Arieta, who's a big Puerto Rican comedian. He had a TV show called the Raymond Arieta Show or the Raymond Show, and he had like different characters that he did.
Mm-hmm.
So like there was a clown that I think was like similar to like you remember I think it was in Living Color, Homie Don't Play.
Yeah, homie D clown.
Oh, I think Homie the Clown. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So Raymond Arieta had a clown that I would dare say here's a let me show you this. Let me show
yeah,
it
yeah. Go ahead.
to the people that are listening, if you're listening, not watching it on YouTube, or on the Patreon. We're talking about basically Chespirito. Chespirito was a Mexican writer that he had a really, really funny show. He had a few shows. And then what we're talking about here is Raymond Arieta. Yeah, so look at this guy. Tell me this doesn't look like something like from Homie the Clown.
That's great.
That's what I'm saying. So then he would, if you said something that annoyed him, he'd squirt you.
Oh, Super Soaker. So this is back from the '90s.
Yes. Oh, yeah. This is like the 90s. Yeah. 1993. Yeah. Que vacilón, which was
That's so
the,
cool.
yeah. So that's what I grew up watching comedy wise. And,
Right.
and then what ended up happening is I watched a show called Club Sunshine, which is like our that's a show that you watch after the kids go to bed because there's a lot of like there's a lot of like sexual innuendos. Like I remember
Yeah, yeah.
there was like this dude that he was like he had his hair like licked to the side and he had like this really fine mustache and he was
That's
always cheating on his wife, but the
oh shit.
whole thing of it was, and I might be messing this up, the whole thing of it was that he always like made women fall in love with him because of the over exaggerated way he kissed, and it
Oh,
was just really weird.
that's
But
funny.
that's yeah, that was growing up in Puerto Rico. What did you grow up watching that made you want to do comedy?
Oh, a ton of stuff. God, Mel Brooks was a big one. My dad was old school. He was born in the '20s, you know, so like I was raised on the Three Stooges,
Mm.
you know, like Curly and that physical comedy I used to love. But actually going back for 2 seconds though, before I forget though, in terms of watching like, you know, Latino television, the two things that always blew my mind, you know, with the guys in the back in the kitchen watching TV, the weather forecasters in Latina apparently are like just incredibly hot. And I'm like, is
You
always
have to though.
the forecast is like extra bouncy. It's like, oh my God, like
Oh
they're
yeah, but you know why, right?
ratings.
No. Well, I mean, yeah, but the main reason is because think about it. In Puerto Rico, for example, like the weather doesn't change.
Oh yeah, that's right. So you need someone entertaining to keep your hold your attention.
68 to 100.
That's it.
That's it. Like what the fuck else? Like okay, hurricane season,
Yeah, yeah,
tropical storms. That's
yeah,
it. So it's like, yeah, bro, you gotta put some sauce in there. You know what I'm saying? Like you
yeah,
can't.
yeah. I'm like, boy, I was like, what? And that
Oh
and
yeah.
they watch these shows with like these women in scantily clad, you know, scantily clad in bikinis dancing,
Yep.
but it's like oompa music, oompa 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 oompa, and I
Yeah.
was like,
Hispanic countries are some people say that like Hispanic countries are very misogynistic,
oh
and it's
really? So
like
they're just there for yeah.
it's just man, it is what it is. It's culture. Like Puerto
Yeah,
Rican
I mean, I
people,
would
we have
enjoy
a
it. I'm used
very
to like the music. I'm not used to that kind of music, so it's like they're just like you know,
it's
and they're
it's
like
like
doing like this seductive dance, and it's like they're doing like a polka or something. So I was like, That's pretty interesting stuff right there.
I always tell people, I'm like, listen, if you're gonna watch Hispanic television, imagine you're watching porn, but with clown music.
Yeah, I should have. You're funny. I should have thought of that. Yeah, that's really
Dude,
great.
yeah. That's the number one thing I tell people. It's like, listen, it's just like watching the news, because it's like, y ahora estamos por aquí.
Oh yeah,
Put cue clown music in the back, and they're
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah, yeah,
pointing and shit. Like,
yeah.
that's it. Don't get me
It's
wrong, we
funny.
have ugly weather people, but very rare.
Oh yeah, they're on like the cloudy days, the depressing days when no one tunes in anyway. They
Give
on the
Sonya some
Simpsons.
time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Simpsons have always been a huge influence. I'm a huge animation person. When I was a kid growing up, I used to make animation flip books, and I studied it for a while.
So you draw?
I can draw pretty good, but when it came to like, it's a very tedious process, and I don't have the patience for it. I have like programs and stuff that I work on, but I've always been a huge animation fan, and The Simpsons like was a big influence for me, and it reminds me of Hank Azaria, who's uh his contribution, the Bumblebee guy, which is like El Chavo,
Mm-hmm.
like the donkey kisses him, and he's like, ay, 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 el burro amoroso. So for me, I appreciated that, because also watching those shows in the back, it's like, and working in other restaurants, I was like, oh, I get it, un lagosta es grande, like that physical comedy.
Cheech and Chong was like that too. Like I got introduced to Cheech and Chong in 2008, 2009. And
Oh,
I remember like listening to when like Cheech would say something in Spanish, and I was like, oh, I know what the fuck he said.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
So it was good.
I love Cheech and Chong, and I love Up in Smoke. And what does he say when he's like, hey man, you want to get high, man? Yeah, this Pinocchio got wooden balls, man. He's like, he pulls out the joint. It's like the size of a dynamite stick,
Oh yeah,
and
because that's how we
Cheech
pack.
says,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it belongs to Chong. Chong hands it to Cheech, and Cheech is like, well, he's singing like some song. Hey, I'm just a love machine, guacamole pacho, and he grabs the joint and he says something in Spanish. And to this day, I've tried to. I'm like, what the hell did he say? He's like, ay ay ay, something something. Is that a joint, man? But he says it in Spanish. And to this day, I can't remember what the hell. I
Hold on a
can't.
minute. We'll pull it up. That's the scene where he's in the car, right?
Yeah, he picks him up. He thinks he's a chick. He's like, that's false advertising, man. He's like,
I
thanks for the
got you right
ride, man.
here.
Yeah, yeah.
Got a joint here, man. I've been saving. And I don't poco de la chingada.
Yeah, that's it. I think chinga. I think
La
that's. I think that's
chingada is like
that's a naughty word, isn't it?
it's a naughty word. I don't want to say because I don't want to get demonetized or anything, but it's just a naughty word. It's like holy shit. It's like saying
Uh,
basically, but hijo de la chingada translated
son of
verbatim,
a
it would mean son of the fucked, like son of a fuck. So it's like that's why I say holy fuck would be that's
right.
what I would translate it to if I had to. Not that I know much about translations, but that's
That's
how
cool,
I
man.
would say it. Yeah. Oh, dude, I get questions like that all the time. Uh, I get a lot of music stuff too. Like a
All
lot of
right,
people ask.
I'm not making any attempts at appropriation. Don't get me wrong there. So I'm just,
Oh no. I think it's funny the Cheech and talking to Tommy too. Like you'll notice the love that those two dudes have for each other. Like
yeah,
it's
I believe it.
yeah, it's man, you meet with someone and you do business when you both make money and you come up that big. It's and the fact that they didn't change. Like if you look
I know
at
this. Yeah.
yeah, because he has a lot of money, dude. Like
Who, Chong?
oh yeah, oh yeah. He's making a production company.
I didn't know that.
Nobody does. We posted that here on the podcast, and he said it.
Oh,
He
wow.
and he announced it. I can say this now because I don't have the publicist, but we almost like sent it to TMZ
Oh, whoa.
because he was
Wow.
like, "Yeah, I'm gonna fix immigration." He went on this whole thing about talking about I'm gonna fix the immigration issue,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm okay versed on immigration stuff, and I was like, okay, let's hear him out, whatever. And he said, I'm gonna make a production company, and then if people want to come down with a K9, right, or a whatever, it's the work one, I think it's that one, then we can get them here. We give them a couple things that they do, then we get them a SAG card, and then they have medical and they can work.
This is
And
Cheech or this is Chong?
Chong, Tommy Chong,
Tommy Chong.
he
Wow.
says this, and then I get off the podcast and I go, such a silly thing, you know, that's not gonna work.
Right.
And then my coworker, my co-host Eric, he goes, no, that might fucking work. And I was like, no, because they would have to make a bunch of movies. And he goes, you mean like they used to? And I was like,
Oh yeah.
it's like, oh fuck, that actually might work. So we've talked to him a couple times about it, but yeah, I don't think many people, I could be wrong, but I've researched a ton and I've asked people, and like when I tell them that, everybody has that same reaction, like, what?
That's
So
awesome.
dude,
Yeah,
would
I've
you
always
write
loved
for
it.
him?
Would I write for Chong?
Oh yeah,
In a heartbeat.
bro. Right? I don't think there's anyone that would be like, ugh.
You know, I did some stoner comedy recently when I did an appearance at Greenwich Village Comedy Club in the city, and I was talking about how New York, it's all weed is all legal now, but I'm like, it's like, wow, New York, you see the Big Apple, now it's the baked apple. I saw
That's good. That's
thanks.
good.
I saw
Baked
a guy.
apple.
I saw a guy. Thank you. I saw a guy sitting on a park bench smoking a huge blunt, and he had a parrot on each shoulder. And I was like, "Wow, man, two birds with one stoner." And like they like that
Two
one.
months, one stoner.
And then group of nuns tried to sell me a joint. They call themselves the Holy Rollers. I mean, there's a million
Holy
opportunities.
rollers.
There's a million opportunities
We
to
got to get
yeah,
you. We got to get you introduced to Pat Marone. He's in Long Island too, and he does a ton of comedy shows and stuff.
Oh yeah, Pat Marone. I know of Pat Marone. I know
Yeah,
of
Pat.
him.
He's
That's
been on the
great. Yeah.
podcast.
Oh yeah, that's why I saw his name. That's great.
Yeah.
He probably knows my co-writer for a cartoon that we're working on. His name is Chris Roach. Actually, he was just featured in Newsday over the weekend for the weekend section for
Good for
comedians
him.
doing. Yeah. So he's a really funny guy, and he probably knows him. So I'll reach out to him. But we co-created a cartoon together, and he does like funny song parodies and stuff. And I helped him write, make some. I added some, I was kind of like a consultant for it, adding little bits and tidbits and stuff but he must know Pat Marone. He knows everybody.
Do you
He
know?
opened for,
Oh, go ahead. Who do you open for?
no, Chris Roach. He's open for he was on Kevin James's show, Kevin Can Wait. He was the cop named Mott. He was a recurring character, which was really cool. But he goes on tour with Kevin. He opens for him. He's open for other big name comedians. He knows a lot of people. So I've been very fortunate in that area that we're working on this project together. But it's funny that you mentioned Pat Marone, because I can almost guarantee he knows Pat Marone. The
Probably.
name totally rings a bell.
You know Adam Gable?
Again, the name rings a bell. I haven't met these people, and
Yeah.
no.
Adam's
But
a good. He's a good mentor of mine. Like he's
that's great.
awesome. Yeah.
You
He's
do
so
stand up
funny.
too.
I attempt to. I
I mean,
attempt
just
to
get
do
up there.
stand up.
Yeah, the first couple times is like a little nerve wracking. When you get up there and it's just everything. I find when I get up there and the lights on me, everything just kind of melts away, and you make a schmuck out of yourself for 6 or 7 minutes, and then you basically go back to whatever you're doing, making a schmuck out of yourself without the light on you. So I might also just try and do something with it.
Yeah. It's hard when you're coming up and there's not like a big scene for a lot. You have to make like your own opportunities a lot of times.
Oh yeah,
And if
yeah.
the people don't really like, unfortunately around here, people don't want to do open mics. They don't want to go to open mics. It's very hit and miss. But the thing is there's certain spots you go and you get like 4 or 5 people, man, and some people just want to party, bro. Like
That's
some
cool.
people just want to party. So to me, stand up is pretty cool. My goal is once everything goes to shit and tickets start being a little cheaper, I'll probably start doing a lot of spots in New York, because I have a lot of invitations to go to New York, and I have a couple invites to go to LA to do like skits and to do some other stuff, because it's just the times, man. The times, or you know how it is. You're up there on the East Coast, man. Like shit got crazy for a while. So,
well, you mean with COVID? I mean, it's
well, not only with COVID, man, just everything. It's just been everything up there in New York, like COVID, politics, cops, like it's just one thing after another that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna stay away for now.
yeah. I mean, I'm a pretty, I could be pretty, I could be a pretty, worrisome kind of guy. I would definitely worry. But I mean, when you go to a city with 8 million people, chances are you'll be all right. I mean, when it comes down to it, just comes down to odds. I mean, I think you blend in really well in the city. I mean, it's like
me. Oh
yeah.
yeah, and I speak Spanish and Portuguese, so it's like
Oh, you speak Tagalog? You
No,
speak? Oh no,
Portuguese,
Portuguese.
Brazilian,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I should know. Like we like
Brazilian.
me and the wife like to watch 90 Day Fiance and
Oh my God, no, you don't.
yeah.
Do you really?
I wasn't into it at first, but she gets me sucked into these shows, and I'm like, oh my god! And I
I
forget which one.
love
Where
it.
that
I,
show is like it's such trash, but you know you can't. It's
but
TV trash.
that's the
It's a TV.
beauty.
Well, yeah, it's a TV train wreck. You can't help but look away. You don't. You're like, wait, what happens next? I'm a bad person. Wait, what happens next? You know, because
No, I love it
I'm
because
constantly making fun of them. You know, because I'm like,
yeah,
oh, this
you
one's
have to.
this, this one's
You
that. Yeah.
have to. You have to. There's no way someone God help me. There's no way someone's that ignorant that they'd be like, I'm gonna sell everything and move to another country.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
speak the language. Like, what do you know about
right,
that country? What's the capital of the country? How many
right,
people
right,
are in the country? What's the demographics? What's the religion like? What's the laws? I just
right.
love him. Like, so I watch that show with my wife
After
after
90 days,
90 days.
three.
Yes. Oh my God. And listen, I want to make this very clear because I say this on the show all the time. I shit on that show a lot because I love it. Because it
Well,
really makes me feel good about every shit decision I've ever taken in my life.
me too. That's yeah. We'll look at each other and be like, "Damn, maybe we're really not that bad." Because, like, we're not making these. What you
Honey,
had
I
a
love you.
penis?
I love you, honey. I'm so sorry. I'm so
I,
sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't do that last dish tonight.
I know, right? It's like, yeah, well, I mean, it wouldn't be a big deal if she did, but it'd be nice if you told me and blah 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 blah. Because they have that one. Well, actually, no, it's female and male, but that kind of stuff. It's like, and then they start fighting, and it's bah, bah, bah,
I
cue dramatic music.
my favorite one is I think I watch what's it called? It's because there's like 3 different ones. There's 90 Day, there's the other way, there's before the
Yeah,
90 days. I
yeah,
there's
yeah, yeah.
one
There's a
that
bunch. Yeah.
this woman is moving to she moved to like Colombia or something. It's a
Is
lesbian
that the new
couple.
season? And she's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
3 feet.
yeah.
She's got this big butt, and she said she's like, he's such a bad. I don't like when people lie, but she lied to him because she's like she's moving down there
Oh, you
permanent,
no,
and
that's
he wants to.
The Dominican chick, the
Yeah,
Dominican
yeah,
guy, the Dominican
and
guy.
he's like
Oh,
super
bro.
tall, so she could like please him without having to get on her knees. Just
Bro, he towers over her.
I know.
So
It's like
my wife the other day, they have, you know how they do the picture of like that. I love how they try to like
the angry one, the
it.
happy one. This one we're getting
Yeah.
along. Then their
You have
backs are
to. It's
yeah.
balance. You have to have yin and yang. My
Oh
favorite
yeah.
thing is how they show. Have you ever been to the Dominican Republic?
No, no, I haven't.
First of all, beautiful place.
Oh yeah,
Beautiful
I've heard.
place. One of our friends, Manuel Quesada, he's the owner of Quesada Cigars. That's
Oh
where
wow.
his operations are. Yeah, Manuel's a great dude. His daughter's actually coming on the podcast for actually I haven't announced this, so I guess I'll announce it now. Raquel Quesada, who will probably be running operations from Quesada Cigars moving forward, or eventually, I would dare say, which I'll ask her. She will be on the podcast October for promoting Oktoberfest. They have
Oh
a
wow.
cigar. They have a cigar called Oktoberfest, and excuse me, they make a different blend every so often, and it's huge,
Wow.
huge. So we do a pairing taste and stuff like that at the cigar shop. She comes down, and normally I go to talk, and because it's she's in a place where no one speaks Spanish, and
Mhm.
it's just her, and then I show up, and she's like, oh, okay, someone who
Right.
can understand me, So I go there for a couple hours, and she's such a sweetheart. So we're having her on the show this
Does she get
this
like that's awesome. Oh no, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's just a joke, but did you get requests from celebrities like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Bill Clinton? I heard maybe you have someones that are extra long and extra, with his history with Lewinsky.
Man, we've said no to a couple of people actually. I'm pretty picky with who I have on. Number
Oh no,
one,
I meant for the cigars. Did she get requests from them for the cigars?
oh, you know what? That's a
That was
good question. That's a really
that's
good
why it
question.
was a bad cigar joke, but I
I
figured
know
I'd give it
Michael
away.
Jordan smokes Cohibas.
No, that's cool.
He's a Cohiba guy. Yeah, I love cigars. I love cigars. Like I love cigars.
Cool.
I was just at the shop smoking, but that's a good question though, because that, like people like I can call Manuel, so I'm sure there's probably people way more famous than me that can go, Manuelito, I need 200 sticks. How much? or I
Right.
need 5,000 sticks. Because like some people, man, like they have a cigar preference. Are you a cigar guy?
Once in a while, I like a good
Once in
cigar.
a while, okay.
Mhm.
THC marijuana probably no, not your
These days,
thing.
working in healthcare, I'm supposed to be like,
Yeah, no. So
I
you
mean,
have
it's
to
legal. It's
be,
legal here, but it's like,
yeah. But in the healthcare, I get it. I get it.
I
I
used to,
wish
yeah.
I wish that would change, man, because I know you worked at the hospital during the whole COVID ordeal, right?
Yeah, it was a nightmare. Yeah, definitely.
Dude, my wife, yeah, my wife had to deal with some stuff too. And I think the biggest thing for us was just deconning. Like every time she got home,
Oh yeah, totally.
she'd be in the hallway and she'd Lysol and then she'd put everything in a bag and we'd
Hmm.
run to the bathroom. Cause she's not, the COVID wasn't the main thing that concerned me. It was she's around kids.
Oh
So the
yeah.
kids just carry that. So dude, it's an ordeal when she works.
Oh, I
How
believe it.
how how did you get involved working at the hospital like during the COVID ordeal?
I mean, I worked in I was doing what was I doing? I was I forget where I was working at the time, but my wife works at LIJ, Long Island Jewish,
Okay.
and I'd always been interested in working there, so I applied and got in, and it was I got in December of was it December of 2018? Yeah, 2000. So worked there for about a year, and then COVID hit, and we were a hotspot. It was disastrous. It was almost, I mean, the worst public health crisis in 100 years. Not to be a bring down or anything, but I mean, it was really rough going for a while. Thankfully,
Yeah.
the vaccine came around. We watched this like, in the beginning, everybody, whether you're 30, 40, doesn't matter, healthy or not, people ending up, in the
People were
getting sicker and
panicking.
sicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
then we watched this eventually, like 95% of the patients were, and I'm not trying to promote anything. I'm not trying to push anything on anyone, but like I
No,
saw
but that's the
myself.
demographics though, because it
Yeah.
was like the people who are at risk, like here in town in Springfield, the demographic, I hate to cut you off, but the
No, no, it's fine.
demographics here are retirees.
Oh yeah, yeah, they were high risk.
Yeah, you're definitely at risk. So yeah, no,
Right.
I get it, dude. It was crazy here. It was crazy. A lot of
Well,
retirees.
I believe it. And it's terrible, But again, people that were in their 30s and 40s that were otherwise healthy were getting intubated. It was a nightmare. So eventually, when the vaccine came out and we watched this, like eventually, like after a few months, like 95% of people that were still getting hospitalized unfortunately hadn't been vaccinated. And again, I'm not trying to push it on anyone, but that's just what I witnessed. But after that, I got out of there, and then I did home care for a while, and now I do psych because I'm not just who's that guy from the hair club? I'm not just the president, but I'm also a client, because it helps to be around it helps to be around similar company. It makes for great storytelling. You have a patient that says, "There's a demon in my burger." I was like, well, at
Oh
least there's no
God.
pickles. You said you didn't
So
want
was it
pickles.
was it like a full psych? Like you got to lock the door behind you. You have to like all that
Yeah,
type of a deal.
yeah. I mean, I enjoy it. Yeah, there's, well, it's automatic. Like you need like a key.
Yeah.
You need a regular standard key to go from unit to unit. When to get it to get into the actual hospital, you need like a badge and all that stuff. So
I
makes
did
for good story. Makes for good storytelling.
I went to, oh God, I can tell the story. I went to one of those medical facilities here
Oh wow.
to interpret for someone.
Oh yeah.
Because
We use you guys all the time.
yeah,
All the
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. So I was in the area and the CPS worker had said, "Hey, the hospital, they need somebody." Ta, 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 ta. So I just gave them the paperwork, gave them the work agreement, gave them my rates, and I walked upstairs and the lady goes, as we're walking up the stairs, she goes, "I see that your ears are a little cauliflowered and your hands bend weird." I go, "Yeah." And she goes, "So do you grapple or something?" I go, I kind of wrestle and grapple. She goes, "All right, let's hope you don't have to do that."
Oh yeah, definitely.
So,
When it's
I'm
time for the bleed,
already, dude, but I
yeah,
was like here. So as soon as we walked in the door, there's like a hallway and there's people in the hallway. And I started to take a step. She goes, no, wait a minute. And we had to wait until the door closed and then we moved.
yeah.
And girl like starts walking behind me. She's like, "You're my dad, right? You're my dad, right? You're my dad. You're my dad, right?" And I just looked at her immediately. I looked at her. I was like, "Don't fucking touch me." The lady's like, "You can't touch them. You can't
No,
talk like
yeah.
that."
It could,
I was like, "I don't give a fuck. This is terrifying. This is really terrifying."
you
Like,
get used to it. Most of them are harmless. It's just there's a certain group that you have to be careful of, and then that's why we have a lot of coworkers and staff that if you need to restrain and sedate, then you restrain and sedate. That's all. You
that's
get used to it.
terrifying. That's terrifying though.
You get
It's
used
like
to it.
you get used to it. I would think, yeah, I would think so, but it's like, for me, it was my first time there, and it was just like
Oh
I've
yeah,
seen,
first time you're like, what the
yeah,
F
it's
is
like
going on
it
here?
looks like it looked like something out of a movie. Like
Like
there's a dude
one
eating.
flew over the cuckoo's nest.
I don't want
Have
to
you seen
say
it?
that. No, I haven't seen that. No, no, no. I haven't
I
seen
highly
that.
recommend it if you're curious, because
One foot's in the cuckoo's nest.
one flew over the cuckoo's nest. Jack Nicholson and Louise Fletcher plays the evil nurse, and she's not evil. She's just so cold, and he definitely recommend. Yeah, watch it, and then I'll check back with you and see what you thought. I mean, his performance is incredible.
Oh, 1975. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
Young Danny DeVito, young
I
Christopher
see it.
Lloyd.
I see the trailer. Dude, but for me it was more like it looked like something out of Batman, I'm sorry, Arkham Asylum. Like
Oh
when you
yeah.
see someone sucking on like something and another person going like this on their
Mhm.
hair, and
Mhm.
I'm just walking around going, if I have to fight these people, I am so fucked. I
Oh,
am
it's lost
so fucked.
legally speaking. You just get out of the way, and then your
Just
coworkers come in and they restrain it. Yeah, you protect yourself, and then the coworkers come in and they grab them and you safely bring them into a room, and that happens. I mean, I don't want to jinx it because I'm working tomorrow, but I mean, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen too often. It doesn't happen too often.
I'm gonna see a Facebook post be like, well, I did the Rico podcast. And then I'm
Yeah,
ended up in the hospital the next day after talking.
yeah,
Oh God, no.
it's cool. It's all cool. So,
Like Hispanic people do. Like,
oh
no,
yeah, yeah,
no, no, no. That's wild to me, dude. Like
yeah.
it's the mental fortitude that you have, and you kind of have to like have a little bit of belief that these people will get better, I would think. Cause I mean,
Sometimes to do a De Niro face.
yeah,
Sometimes, a little bit. Sometimes they do, and sometimes we get revolving door. Because we get them medicated and they get stable, and then they leave and they stop taking their meds and they get
yeah.
sick and
Frequent.
they're
Do you
right back
guys
in.
call them in law enforcement? We call those people frequent flyers.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
similar
Oh
to that.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's some people, yeah, like there's some people, man, that they I don't know if it's discipline. I don't know what it is, but some people, man, I think honestly, if I'm being honest, I think some people just don't want to get better.
It's it's some people. Yes, it is behavioral. Some people are just assholes. Mental illness or not. That's just the way it goes. Those who do want to get better, they stay better. Those who don't. So but we give equal care, non-judgmental, and we just do our thing.
That's what I
But
tell people. That right there that you
as
said, that's beautiful is, hey man, just don't judge, because the moment you start judging, you should probably stop doing it.
well,
Because
yeah. I mean, it's
it's
like that expression. What's that expression? It's like don't try not to judge people because they might be undergoing a battle you know nothing about. So just try and
I
get
got one for you that's better.
okay,
I used to have that one. I don't know about you. I like to collect sayings and like
okay.
break them down and analyze them. I heard one from, do you know who Juice World is?
No,
Okay, Juice World was a very very talented artist. He did a collaboration with Eminem. Eminem like complimented his bars. He did a freestyle for an hour, completely fucking improvised.
wow,
For an hour, he
wow.
improvised. So he died, had some complications,
Oh
and
no,
his mother used to tell him, Juice WRLD's mom, which I can't remember the young lady's name, she used to say, if we all collectively grabbed our problems and we threw them in a hole and you saw everybody else's real problems, you would take yours and run the fuck away.
there's a good chance.
That fucked me up when she said that.
Yeah, it's
Because
it leads up to one of my heroes is Einstein, and he always said, you can never achieve peace through force. You can only achieve it through understanding, and that's one of humanity's biggest challenges.
my
Because where do
favorite
you draw the where do
saying,
you draw the line? If someone is just not a good person, they're a bad person. You don't understand that. You have to you have to take it. You have to institutionalize it. Basically, I mean,
yeah,
that's
I
my
get
thing.
what you mean. I get what you mean.
Yeah.
My favorite saying from Einstein was, because I was reading his autobiography a couple of years ago, and my favorite saying is, people used to, I read somewhere that people were like, man, he just doesn't give a fuck. Like someone will say something to him and he's just like 10 minutes later, he forgets. And
Yeah,
someone's
well,
like,
yeah.
what do you do? And he goes, wise people, and I'm paraphrasing it. I know the
Oh, I know. I
ending.
think I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Forgive, someone, seeks vengeance, and brilliant people just forget.
Oh,
And I
wow.
was like,
Count me out.
oh,
I'm always holding on to shit.
oh, dude, yeah, God ain't petty, but I am. Like I'm not. Here's the thing, I'm not that petty. But if you
Right.
did something to me and you ever needed like toilet paper or something, I'm buying toilet paper with splinters. 100% I'm giving you fucking toilet paper with splinters. That's how I
Yeah, I
am.
know.
But
Yeah,
I'm
I can.
learning. I think as
Yeah,
I get older, because I'm pretty young still. I think
that's
as I
cool.
get older, and there's certain people I don't hold a grudge with. I don't know if that happens to you. Like I have
I
certain
work.
people.
Yeah, I work on just trying to be like, okay, that's what you say. That's who you are. All right.
So hard though. It's so hard,
I know.
especially as a comic. Sometimes you want to be like, "Mm,"
I know. Listen,
just
yeah, I mean, like if I post a joke and no one, I mean, if I post jokes as often as I can, and ones that I think are going to go over really well get crap, and then I'll like talk about how whatever. I sat down to have a BM and I sat on my own nut, and then like I'll get like 500 likes, like whatever amount of likes. But then if I do like a specific joke like I did today, it's like I'm starring in a sitcom about a Jewish handyman calling it mensch with a wrench, and I figured that would get like a lot of mensch is a Yiddish word for someone who
I
does good.
I I
So like 5 likes,
I'm
and I'm like,
trying not to laugh.
I'm
That's
like, what
so
the hell's
wrong.
wrong with you? I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you people? Like, why don't you like that? It's like we're insecure comics. Comics are insecure and there's pain too. So I got that going for me.
I think what I've come to discover, and Adam was a big help, is like just finding like my voice. Cause
Oh
like
yeah, totally.
a lot of times with the podcast, I'll re-listen because I have to re-listen to everything when I'm editing and stuff like that. One of the things I realize is, oh, that came out so natural. Like that
Yeah,
just came out real natural. And then I'll go on stage and say it and it does well. And
that's
then I'm
cool.
like, okay, like I'm figuring it out. But that's
Yeah,
not the only aspect to it. I don't know. It's weird, man. Like it's kind of like this era where I feel like everybody's like a little bit scared and like everybody's like a little worried and like I don't know, man. I could be wrong, but I don't feel like we need more people watching comedy.
I agree. I mean, and like I was going to ask, do you bring your heritage into your work? I mean, I like to do. I mean, because sometimes I feel like for me, it's like, oh, a Jewish comedian, no way. So then I try not to bring too much into it, but sometimes I'll bring stuff into it, like when I was a kid, going on driving excursions with my parents. It's like this is before GPS. I called it GPS. I just remember my own joke. GPS with my mother and father arguing.
Oh,
You're supposed to turn here.
GPS.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're supposed to turn here, you schmuck. What are you talking about? They just
Yeah,
ripping back and forth. Sometimes I bring it in, sometimes I don't.
I try to I have a lot of race jokes between like Hispanic people and stuff, and then I have a lot of like one of the jokes that I do all the time is like, what's the difference between a Mexican and a Puerto Rican?
Wait, what? That's the punchline, or no? I
No,
didn't
no,
hear
no,
you.
no,
Sorry.
no. My question to you is, what is the difference between a Mexican and a Puerto Rican?
What?
One works in yards, the other one works in kilos.
I like-
See, like that's
yeah, that's good. I like that.
that's it. So like I do stuff like that. But then, for me, uh I try to not emulate what other comedians do.
Hmm.
So what I try to do is I try to like I'll watch things and I watch them insatiably. Like if you look at my YouTubes, it looks like a confused compilation of like reggaeton music, jujitsu, and Roy Wood Jr. videos or comedy videos. Yeah,
You can
my
never be too
YouTube.
eclectic, though. You got to be unique. You got to be yourself.
Well, Roy Wood Jr. said something at an interview that he was doing that he said he does only two kinds of jokes. How he feels about an issue, and I think the other part was like about himself or his life, right? Or how
Hmm.
something affects him. So the moment I like figured that out, I started like tailoring how I write, and I started seeing like, oh, okay, like I have thoughts here. I tell people like I use this analogy a lot because being an interpreter and like doing jujitsu, it makes sense to me. Anything that
Hmm.
you do in life is like learning a language.
Hmm.
Anything, including martial arts. and I can prove it, right? Including comedy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn the ABCs of it.
Right.
Then you have to learn how to put those ABCs together and what they sound like. Then
Mm-hmm.
you start learning words. Then you start learning the meaning of words. Then
Right.
you start making phrases, paragraphs, articles, books, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
that's the difference between someone who started something and someone who's been doing it for over 10 years is,
Right.
hey, man, that person can write a book on this.
Right.
So comedy to me is like I'm mixing vowels and consonants together. That's how I
Well,
feel my comedy is like. I can form every now and then I get a good word, like a good word that
mm-hmm.
everybody's like, that's good.
That's
But
cool.
but to be honest, if I could have a genie grant me a wish, and I said this before on the podcast, it would be to get choked every day at jujitsu by every single person, including the 3-year-olds. Including the 3-year-olds, just somehow they flip me and they catch me in a wrist lock one time. If I could never bomb again.
Ha!
Never,
There you go.
never. Cause it's I don't know, man.
Flop sweat is, I swim in that shit.
Do
I
you?
shower in that shit. No, no, no.
Ah,
No, not. I mean, I don't mind it. I don't mind. I mean, I just because usually, like, sometimes often if a joke flubs, my reaction to the joke not working it makes up for it because I laugh at that. I'll just look at the audience and
I try to
be like,
have a like when I go do a set, what I do is this is just how I do it is I'll write like a joke, right? And then I'll
mhm,
go, okay, well, if that doesn't work, I'll say this. But then what I've come to learn, Adam was telling me, he's like, well, now you know which one works.
right,
So now you can tell the joke with that one because you've tried it 100 times
yeah,
and
mhm.
changed it. But it's soul crushing, man. Like
Yeah.
it's just soul crushing, bro. Like I look
You
at
know,
other guys.
they're your babies.
Yeah, I mean, it. I think my problem is like I'm not shy to go on stage and bomb, but my thing
Mhm.
is like, and I don't know if how long have you been doing comedy?
I mean, I've been doing like writing and stuff for like a long time, 15 years. In terms of
Jesus.
like the comedy, it's been like 5 maybe.
Yeah, but you've been a writer on a lot of pretty cool shit.
Well, I mean, the cartoon that I'm working on is I'm really proud of. We're working on the process of, we're getting ready to pitch it, but it's interesting in that like you pitch it to one company and they say, well, it has this, but it's missing this, and then you put in what's missing, and then you bring it back, you send it back to a manager, and the manager's like, no, you want less of that and then more of this. So it's
Are
kind
you
of like,
part of the pitch team, I'm assuming?
yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay. What's that like? And here's why I ask because I'm part of an anime. I do voiceover in an anime called TK. Yeah,
oh
it's
wow, that's
it's an
cool.
anime. Yeah, dude. First audition I ever did, and I got it.
That's awesome.
And that's something that I hear a lot. Like they went to Netflix and they said this. And I don't know if they did, but just to paraphrase, because I'm in
Right.
the group chat and they went here, like what is that like when you pitch something? Like, can you explain that? And by the way, what's the name of this project? Can I hear more about it?
Yeah, it's called, well, basically it's called Inside the Monster Studio. Basically, imagine monsters are eternal. They're always going to be popular, and like, but you never get to see them behind the scenes. So take them, we're taking monsters and giving them fictionalized. It's basically like Monsters Incorporated with elements from the Muppet Show, about how you take your guest of the day is Godzilla. So what's Godzilla's background? What's that scandal where he was doing lines of coke off King Kong's ass, and that kind of stuff. And you
He's been
and you
fucking
play
giant squids, bro. That's why we couldn't find them until 2001.
yeah, so, yeah. So so we play with ideas like that, and then we put into little episodes. So um the pitching process is basically you present it, they take a look at it, if they like it, they get back to you, and then you do a Zoom or a meeting with them, and you present what it's about, and what, and then they say, okay, we'll get back to you. When they get back to you, either they pass or they, so we're still waiting. We feel like there's a lot of different networks that we'll find a home for it. It's just a question of when.
Have you thought about who Scott Valentine is?
Yeah, from he was on he made that Scott Valentine. Wasn't he on Family Ties?
Yes. Yes. So he
Yeah.
has a network now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I can. We'll talk offline. We'll talk
Okay,
offline.
cool.
We'll talk offline
Sounds
because
good.
I've been Scott's a real. He wants to get into helping human trafficking victims, and
Oh wow.
me and him have corresponded a lot since I know a little bit about that stuff. And he's always like, "Hey, if you guys," he tells everybody, he's like, "Hey, if you see something, just send them our way, and we'll see what it is." But it's
Cool.
hard, man. One of the things that Cortland Tyler, well, shout out to Cortland. He's that dude, I swear, he doesn't sleep. He's making a video game that's about to be out. He's making 2 animes. He has a production company. Like that dude, I swear to God, that dude don't sleep.
That's awesome.
But one of the things that they also did was they translated it. So they
Oh
have
wow.
it in English and in Spanish, and that's attracted a lot of people.
That's great.
So that's just an idea for y'all. Cause that's been one thing that people they're like, oh, you got it? Cause the Hispanic market is huge, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, we can chat. We can definitely chat. We have a very open door policy. Very collaborative. Again, we're making a change to it this week, and then we're gonna send it to manager again, and then we pitch it again, and it's just that's just the game.
And
But we
what's it
think it has a lot.
about?
What's up? Well,
And
let's
what's
think.
it about?
Can't say too
If you
much.
can tell, I understand there's probably NDAs. I understand. I'm just
I
asking.
mean,
I have to.
well, again, it's basically it has something to do with movie monsters, and it's funny.
Okay.
I
All
mean, I
right.
could probably
Not
send you the
getting
link.
much.
I could send the link. I could send the link. Between you and me, I could send you the link. You could take a
I
look.
was thinking I like what you said earlier about the Godzilla, but then I'm trying to like visualize it and I'm like, he's not giving me enough. And I didn't want to push the line.
No, no. I mean, I talked to my co-writer again, Chris Roach. I talked to him, and he's like, "Yeah, it's cool. You could because it's copyrighted and everything." So,
Oh,
I'll,
okay.
when we're all wrapped up, like I'll send you the link, and just tell me what you think.
Yeah, yeah.
Apart from that,
I love animation. I
I'm a
love
huge enemy.
animation. Oh God. I grew up watching also I grew up watching a lot of anime at like a young age, but I also
But
grew
yeah,
up
I love
watching a
anime.
lot of cartoons. You're an anime guy?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not big into it these days. I was when I was younger. Like
But you're aware of it.
oh yeah, of course, and I have a huge respect for it. Akira is a huge. I wish they would make a live action Akira.
They
I
are.
love.
They
Oh,
are.
that's awesome.
They
I
are.
love
They
Ninja.
can't find the Akira guy. They can't find who to
Oh,
play that they're like,
that dude.
yeah, they can't. They haven't found it. They haven't found it. And that's a huge role because you don't want to fuck that up.
Oh no, not at all. I
Whoever
could
they
see
pick.
someone like I could see like Tarantino directing that, or like what's his name? Taika Waititi would probably do a good job with it.
But
Uh,
who would play the
I
main
don't.
character?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's the $1 million question is who do you pick that can not only bring people to see this, but can pull that style off? Like I can't.
What, you don't want to see another live action Dragon Ball? Durr.
Man, I'll take a lot of things. I'll put up with a lot of things on this podcast, but bringing up that abomination, just listen. I like Dragon Ball and the Dragon Ball Z series and Dragon Ball Super because they're 3 different
Right.
marks and copyrights. I just don't understand who the fuck approved that.
I don't know.
I don't think they went to Toriyama and were like, Mr. Toriyama, we present this
Right.
to you. And then he just was like, you motherfuckers need to commit seppuku because that thing was just horrible.
Well, it's either maybe it was the same guys that presented the 99 Godzilla, that the giant iguana movie. That was terrible.
We had a guy that was on that recently on the show, and he was like asking us, like, hey, what do you think of the old ones versus the new ones? Dude, I started sweating. Like you can't see it on the podcast because we changed the camera, but I'm like
Yeah.
going like this, like I don't know how to answer that.
They were like, the Godzilla would pick his teeth with that
I
bastardized, and then it turns into Jurassic Park at the end with the baby Godzillas, and oh my god, that was just a
Yeah,
nightmare.
but it's you know what, man. Here's the thing that I've had this conversation with enough of my friends because that's one thing that it used to annoy me, right? Like they'll do a story about someone and then it's like, oh, and his kids now do this, or they'll
Yeah,
always do the same thing where they go back, they go, oh, well, this is why he's like this because his dad.
right.
As a money grabber, I understand it because like you look at an anime like Naruto, right?
Yeah.
Which if you don't know what Naruto is, it's about ninjas. It's
Right.
one of the biggest selling animes and mangas, like top 5 shonen still to this day. And then they made a show called Boruto. And if you watch Boruto, it just makes you want to just fucking like slap a dog. Like it's like why? Like why did you do this? But again, it's a money grab, I guess. Like
Money,
that's the
baby,
only.
money.
You think so?
Some of it, definitely, yeah. I think it's great. Yeah, I think it's great that you do voiceover work too, dude.
Oh, thank you, dude. I appreciate
Yeah,
that. I'm
check my website when you get a chance.
No, I got it pulled up right here, which actually that's where I was
Oh, okay.
taking the conversation to.
Yeah, this is
Was
live. You said this is live right now.
as live as we want to make it, because this comes out in a few days.
Can you give me 30 seconds? Nature
Hell
call.
yes, I can give you 30 seconds, brother. Hold on 1 second.
For sure.
Dude, that happens. Sometimes we'll have somebody's like, dude, I need to go take a piss. And I'm like, oh, we're almost
Yeah.
done. Or hey, no, this. But yeah, no, your website, let me show it here. Because I like the color scheming of it.
Yeah, thanks. You know what? You mentioned influences. Mine is again a big one. A big one is Mel Brooks, and Mel Brooks likes the color yellow because he thinks it's a funny color. It's like a sunshiny, happy, funny color. So that's why I made it bright.
Excuse me.
If you go to the top right and it says click here for intro. If you like Jaws and The Godfather, I think you'll get a kick out of it.
Hold on, click right here.
There is an actor today who can provide dozens of impressions for cheap change,
Cheap change.
without hassle, for any project. An endless mimic machine. He has a knack to imitate anything.
Josh Shaffer is available for any occasion. Birthdays, holidays, communions, bar mitzvahs, even your daughter's wedding. Just make him an offer. He won't refuse.
He won't refuse.
He'll deliver a quality, custom-made voiceover at warp speed, no tribble at all. So visit his website and he'll go where no actor has gone before. Oh my.
Oh my. I love that. Yeah, that color scheme's pretty interesting, dude.
Yeah, thanks.
That color scheme is really interesting. I'm
Yeah,
a big
my...
I don't know if that's like your color. My color is black and green. Like that.
Black and green.
Yeah, like black and like forest green. Not like light
Oh,
green.
so it's got like a sunsetty, foresty kind of thing to it.
Yes. Like a spring, like a spring leaf green. That's
cool.
A better way to say it. Yeah, that's how I do my translation business. It's called Language and Solutions, and that's the whole scheme. Is just black and green. And
I dig it.
Love it.
That's cool.
I love it. Oh yeah, dude. It's
very cool.
You have a really vast knowledge when it comes to like the business of entertainment, which surprises me a lot because normally it takes people way longer to figure out the business side. How did you figure all that out?
I mean, I've been fortunate enough to know and continue relationships with people that have been in the business for a long time. I studied acting for a while with a man named David Gideon. I'm not sure if you're familiar with method acting. That's like the gold standard of acting.
Yeah.
You know, everyone from Harvey Keitel to De Niro to Pacino to Bradley Cooper. I mean, like most Johnny Leguizamo, like method acting.
It's all method. So, Leonardo DiCaprio, like for a most recent.
Right. So he was Lee Strasberg was the father of method acting. He was his right hand man for years, and he was director of the Actors Studio. So it's interesting, you know. All these years later, I reconnected with him because I've always been, I maintained casual contact with him and keeping in touch with him. But you know, he taught a lot of things about the business, and he reached out to me like about last year. He's like, "Yeah, I've always wanted to go fishing, and I know you like to fish." And now we're like fishing buddies. But I'll bring up, you know, he gives advice, which is really cool. And then he'll be like, "Oh, I need to go to, you know, there's a lecture tonight at the Actors Studio. You know, it's like Ellen Burstyn is doing." I'm like, Ellen Burstyn, like, you know, he knows these kind of people, so he gives the kind of feedback where it's like, you know, yeah, he gave a lot of feedback on it. I mean, a lot of personal research. Again, my co-writer for the cartoon is since he's been on major network shows and he opens for big time comedians, he's a lot of knowledge. And yeah, I mean, and I do a lot of research on my own. But essentially, the biggest, I want to say, challenge and blessing is that you have to enjoy doing it. Otherwise, you give out a vibe that people are going to be like, well, this person's not enjoying it, so why should I? It's like one of my heroes is Chuck Jones. He's one of the great animators behind Warner Brothers cartoons, and he created a lot of those classic characters. And he said, most of the time when they were making those Looney Tunes, they were really making them for themselves. And it just happened that they were hilarious and brilliant, but they enjoyed it. You got to enjoy it.
Yeah, I think there has to be like a really like trying to figure out how to say this. I think you have to have like a deep love for what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think that's what. Yeah, because there's gonna be times you're not gonna make money, or there's gonna be times you're gonna have to do something else. Yeah, but see, man, but nobody talks about that. That's the thing that like kills me, Josh, is that a lot of guys aren't really honest about that. Some people just are like, no, everything was great from the beginning, and I'm like,
no, it wasn't.
Like, was it? Like
my acting coach talked about when he first started out, he was so hungry. He talked about eating peanuts with the shells on, because he was just like he was so hard up for money, and then he found his way.
I heard a story from someone that Larry Hankin and the writer for Jaws, I forget his name, Carl Gottlieb, when they were like doing their thing, they lived together. And I heard this from our old publicist. And apparently it was either Carl or Larry that they would crash weddings
just so they could eat.
Just so they could eat. And apparently one time one of them had a shrimp in his pocket for like weeks.
Oh God.
It fucked up the dynamic of the apartment, apparently. Like it was like, my God,
that's
bad.
Like, where the hell is that coming from?
Oh, dude.
Who did you sleep with? Who did you sleep with last night?
Dude, I have a friend who's a he's doing really, really well right now as a comedian, and he's probably moving up here along with like some other friends. And dude, some people I feel like some people like they think that it's always like up. And they don't get that it's like, no, it's like this, like it's like looking at the charts for the market right now. It's fucking wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to have, not necessarily a 9 to 5, but it's something, you need to live. The old school stories about people that just devoted 100% of their time to it. It's like, yeah, it's true. And there are people that still do that. And it's like, at times I'm envious. It's like, I wish I could just drop everything and just dive right back in and stuff. But then I wouldn't have the life I have, that fuels it, like one side of my brain helps people and the other side of my brain is creative, so it's like, but the side that helps people, that pays the bills. I need to pay the bills, I'm going to have some dinner afterwards. I can afford, it's expensive, but I can afford to buy things. And
that happens a lot in like everything. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like, because even in jiu-jitsu, like people come in and they're like, I'm a champion. I'm like,
oh no, it takes a day at a time.
Yeah,
an hour at a time, a minute at a time.
Yeah, you want to eat ramen noodles and eggs for a weigh-in? Like, is that what you want to do, buddy? Just to get some salt and protein in you? Like, and with comics, it's the same thing. I think people get really excited to like start doing their own thing instead of like just taking it easy. I don't know.
Yeah, and you gotta have to look. I mean, like one of my favorites filmmakers is Steven Spielberg. He's one of my favorites, and when he made Jaws, when they wrapped that thing, they thought that their careers were over. It went 100 days over schedule. It went tremendously over budget. The shark was never working. The crew was miserable. The townies were getting upset. All this stuff, and like Spielberg was miserable. And they thought that the shoot did not go the way they wanted it to go, nor did the editing. I believe that Spielberg wanted the audience to see the shark in the first 5 minutes. You look at it today, that would have ruined it. The suspense, the Hitchcockian approach of the camera. You are the shark.
I saw that movie once, and I saw that movie recently too. Like I'd never seen it before.
Jaws? It's one of my favorites. Like I watched it 100 times.
Never seen it. Saw it recently.
I do mean Quint, because that's why I'll frequently flip back to it for research. He was so great.
What part do you do the most? Like what part of the movie do you do the most for Quint?
Just basically, Jesus H. Christ, Chief. Son of a bitch! Can't find a goddamn good worker today. None under 60. What the hell is that?
Oh God!
You go in the water. Cage is in the water.
That's what I
Shark.
thought you were going to do first. I thought you were going to do the cage
Yeah.
part, but you started out with Jesus Christ. And I was like, oh, God, we went hard starting out. All right.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies.
So
Yeah.
I saw it and I was like, nope, fuck this movie. Never seen it again.
Really? You didn't like it, or is it?
No, it's a great movie. It's fucking terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't like the ocean. Like I don't.
Oh, did you see it in 3D? We went to see it in 3D.
Fuck no.
Dude, it's like you hear things you never seen.
Nope.
You see things. You are in the water.
Nope. Josh, you cannot listen, dude. You cannot convince me. You know why? We know only less than 5% of what the fuck is in the ocean, and that is fucking terrifying. Nope.
Man, they just want to be your. They just want to be your friend.
Yeah, no. It's terrifying, dude. That's why when people are like 100% there's no megalodon or insert whatever thing, and I'm like,
maybe down deep. You never know.
We're reviving mammoths now.
I know. Mammoth meatballs. Apparently, they made a meatball. That's a spicy meatball. They made not a real, not edible. There's just a little play on words, but apparently they like made some sort of like, I don't know what they did with the material, but they made some, not to eat, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'd ride one to work. That'd be pretty cool.
Dude, no, because here's the thing. You can't say that freely, Josh. You shouldn't, because think about it this way, right? You know what I would want to ride?
T-Rex.
A triceratops.
Oh, okay.
They're herbivores.
Right.
So I can plant crops and just keep planting crops. And in the winter, we just save up. And no one would fuck with a fucking triceratops because they will fucking kill you.
That's true. They're pretty hardcore. Oh, if you like anime, speaking of dinosaurs, you should watch Primal. I don't know if you heard of the show called Primal.
Cartoon Network.
Andy Tartakovsky. It's brilliant. It's so heavy. It's like heavy metal violent. That's brilliant.
I haven't seen that, and I haven't seen Samurai Jack, the latest one that they did.
Same guy. Oh, that was excellent.
I haven't seen it. I've seen like clips of him fighting. Like he looks weird, so I'm assuming I kind of know like what happened by what I see.
Well, it's way off. It takes place in the future, but it was way, way, way off. It's like 10 years later. He's like a Ronin. Well, he's always been a Ronin. He has no master, but he's like
depressed and shit from what I saw.
Yeah, he's a long hair, long beard. He's just like a rogue hanging. But he shows up in the nick of time to help save people when he can. Yeah, you should definitely watch that stuff. But
yeah,
sorry you didn't like Jaws.
No, it's terrifying, dude. It's terrifying. Like it's fucking no. And that all came because when I was telling you off air, like I lived in Puerto Rico all my life.
Yeah,
and I remember one time we were swimming and we would just hold rocks to try to get a little lower. And I got to a point that there's like a cliff, and then I looked down and fuck,
you saw it dark?
No, it's just black.
Oh, it just keeps going and going.
Black. It's just there's nothing. Like it's fucking terrifying. It's like how
come
deep
they never
is
did
it?
Very, very. I mean, they don't even know. How come they never did a Chavo version of Jaws? I forget. Ay, el tiburón es grande. Sorry, I don't mean to offend.
No, that's so good. You know why they don't make that version?
Why?
Because Hispanic people, we would not be going that far into the fucking ocean. It's exactly why they don't do that. It's exactly that's not believable. That's just not believable. Like this is really hard to make, because even the Mexicans would be like, "What que carajo? What the fuck?" The Puerto Ricans would be like, "Yeah, man, we don't do that unless it's like on a cruise or maybe a plane." The Mexicans will even be like, that's why we don't swim around. We just jump the fence because el tiburón. Why do you think?
If it makes you feel any better, you can look at behind the scenes stuff. In reality, Spielberg and they had to keep changing the angle, when they were shooting, because they were like 500 feet from land. There were always land, but Spielberg wanted to make sure there was no land in every shot because they wanted the audience to feel the same as the isolation as the guys, as the trio.
Yeah. And he did a great fucking job because it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, great job.
Terrifying, dude. That's why I'm like my co-host. He was in the Navy. He did 20 years. He'll be telling stories. Yeah, man, we were at Australia on the coral reefs, and I'm like, aren't there like poisonous jellyfish?
Oh yeah, that's
if you're fishing. He goes, yeah, we had one guy pick it up, and thank God he didn't get bit. And he has like pictures of it. I'm like, fuck no. Fuck
Oh yeah,
no.
like the
Fuck
box
no.
jellyfish or something. It's like a box jellyfish.
I
It's like,
don't remember. It's a jellyfish, and if it stings you, you're fucking dead.
yeah.
And he's like, yeah, some people were out fishing on the edge of the deck, and they're just fishing. He brings it up, and he's like, oh, my God, cute. And everybody
Yeah.
was like, put that the fuck down now.
Australia, man. Australia is full of things that'll kill you. I'm surprised like their advertisers are like, Australia, come on down, try your luck. You know, like it's like if a nation were gambling, it would be your gamble would be like for a trip, it would definitely be Australia.
Bro,
Australia.
I don't understand why we don't just recreate the Hunger Games with Australia.
Everyone will last 5 minutes. And it's over.
No, we would definitely. Here's the thing: any convict that's convicted of certain things, you just throw him in there, and then here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Okay, here's the kicker. A group of 10 Navy SEALs are trying to find you.
Oh shit!
It's training for them. It's training for us. And if you survive, then you get your freedom. But you have to like run back and stuff. Like the odds of, bro.
I'll have my people call your. I'll have my people call your people.
Bro, that should be a fucking movie, bro. The Hunger Games like that, bro. You just have like 20 people hunt them down. Like that would be kind of like the. I don't want to ruin it. So spoiler alert. The Menu.
Oh yeah, I saw it. That movie. It wasn't as good as I thought. You know, like I thought it was going to go somewhere, but it was kind of just like the ending. I'm like, huh?
It's very it's all movies like that, man, are more thrillers, I always say, because the ending it's like
it's being like partly comedic though, so it was like there was some funny stuff, but it was mostly serious.
I will give you 10 minutes to run ahead.
Oh yeah,
the dude just took off, and I'm like, damn, that dude said fuck all y'all.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, there's some. No, I still liked it. I just wasn't what I expected. You know,
it's hard to horror movies to me, man. Like, I'm a big horror fan. Like, which by the way, you had said earlier that they didn't expect the movie to ruin their careers and stuff. We had Susan Lanier from the original Hills Have Eyes.
Oh wow.
And yeah, that woman is gorgeous.
Oh wow.
I don't care what my wife says. She's a very, very beautiful woman, even for her age. Very beautiful woman. And one of the things that they had said was like, yeah, we didn't think it was going anywhere because it was on. Back in those days, they had a car in theaters or something like that.
Drive-in theater? Drive-in?
Yeah, drive-in theaters or something like that. And then apparently, I can't recall how, but someone took it and put it on like the big screen in theaters, and it started selling out. And they were like, hey, we need you to come over here and do a presentation for this movie and stuff. And the rest was history. I mean, it's classic horror movie. But dude,
if you're interested, a buddy of mine, he just made a movie called The Forest Hills. Shelley Duvall's return. I don't know if you've seen Shelley Duvall, the actress from The Shining. She just appeared in his film, and he's I'll when we touch base later, I'll send you the info. And he's a good guy. His name is Scott Goldberg. He makes horror movies, so you're probably gonna kick out of some of his stuff.
Yeah, I would. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I appreciate your time.
Of course.
We've been almost for an hour and a half now. I didn't realize that.
It's all good.
So where can people find you? Where can people call you if they want to hire you? Where can people see all your shit? Like, besides your website?
All my contact info is at www.joshshaffercomedy.com. JOSHSHAFFER comedy.com. When you click on it, you get audio samples, about 45 different samples of my impressions. And then at the bottom, it has contact info on Facebook. It has my phone number, my website, my email, my bra size, everything.
Dude, thank you so much for coming, man. I really appreciate you.
It was a pleasure. Welcome me. I'll be happy to come back anytime. It was a great time, and I'll get you that. I'll get you that data.
Stick around for a few minutes, man. And for everybody listening, like and subscribe on our YouTube, our Patreon, our Facebook, our Instagram, our OnlyFans. If you think we have one, we might. You never know. And thank you for listening.